But Prince Banojik is Petrusha's superior officer. You know very well he is on the roll of the Semenevsky regiment. On the roll. What is it to me whether he be on the roll or no? Petrusha shall not go to Petersburg. What would he learn there? To spend money and commit follies. No, he shall serve with the army, he shall smell powder, he shall become a soldier and not an idler of the guard, he shall wear out the straps of his knapsack. Where is his commission? Give it to me. My mother went to find my commission, which she kept in a box with my christening clothes, and gave it to my father with a trembling hand. My father read it with attention, laid it before him on the table, and began his letter. Curiosity pricked me. Where shall I be sent, thought I, if not to Petersburg? I never took my eyes off my father's pen as it traveled slowly over the paper. At last he finished his letter, put it with my commission into the same cover, took off his spectacles, called me, and said, "This letter is addressed to Andrei Karlovich R., my old friend and comrade. You are to go to Orenburg to serve under him." All my brilliant expectations and high hopes vanished. Instead of the gay and lively life of Petersburg, I was doomed to a dull life in a far and wild country. Military service, which a moment before I thought would be delightful, now seemed horrible to me. But there was nothing for it but resignation. On the morning of the following day a traveling kibitka stood before the hall door. There were packed in it a trunk and a box containing a tea service, and some napkins tied up full of rolls and little cakes, the last I should get of home pampering. My parents gave me their blessing, and my father said to me, "Goodbye, Petter, serve faithfully he to whom you have sworn fidelity, obey your superiors, do not seek for favors, do not struggle after active service, but do not refuse it either, and remember the proverb, take care of your coat while it is new, and of your honor while it is young." My mother tearfully begged me not to neglect my health, and bade Savelich take great care of the darling. I was dressed in a short touloup of hareskin, and over it a thick pelissa of foxskin. I seated myself in the kibitka with Savelich, and started for my destination, crying bitterly. I arrived at Simbirsk during the night, where I was to stay 24 hours, that Savelich might do sundry commissions entrusted to him. I remained at an inn, while Savelich went out to get what he wanted. Tired of looking out at the windows upon a dirty lane, I began wandering about the rooms of the inn. I went into the billiard room. I found there a tall gentleman, about 40 years of age, with long, black mustachios, in a dressing gown, a cue in his hand, and a pipe in his mouth. He was playing with the marker, who was to have a glass of brandy if he won, and, if he lost, was to crawl under the table on all fours. I stayed to watch them. The longer their games lasted, the more frequent became the all-fours performance, till at last the marker remained entirely under the table. The gentleman addressed to him some strong remarks, as a funeral sermon, and proposed that I should play a game with him. I replied that I did not know how to play billiards. Probably it seemed to him very odd. He looked at me with a sort of pity. Nevertheless, he continued talking to me. I learnt that his name was Ivan Ivanovich Serene, that he commanded a troop in the Hussars, that he was recruiting just now at Simbirsk, and that he had established himself at the same inn as myself. Serene asked me to lunch with him, soldier fashion, and, as we say, on what heaven provides. I accepted with pleasure. We sat down to table. Serene drank a great deal, and pressed me to drink, telling me I must get accustomed to the service. He told good stories, which made me roar with laughter, and we got up from table the best of friends. Then he proposed to teach me billiards. It is, said he, a necessity for soldiers like us. Suppose, for instance, you come to a little town, what are you to do? One cannot always find a Jew to afford one sport. In short, you must go to the inn and play billiards, and to play you must know how to play. These reasons completely convinced me, and with great ardor I began taking my lesson. Serene encouraged me loudly. He was surprised at my rapid progress, and after a few lessons he proposed that we should play for money, were it only for a groch, 2 kopecks, not for the profit, but that we might not play for nothing, which, according to him, was a very bad habit. I agreed to this, and Zareen called for punch, then he advised me to taste it, always repeating that I must get accustomed to the service. "And what," said he, "would the service be without punch?" I followed his advice. We continued playing, and the more I sipped my glass, the bolder I became. My balls flew beyond the cushions. I got angry. I was impertinent to the marker who scored for us. I raised the stake. In short, I behaved like a little boy just set free from school. Thus the time passed very quickly. At last Serene glanced at the clock, put down his cue, and told me I had lost 100 rubles. This disconcerted me very much. My money was in the hands of Savaliich. I was beginning to mumble excuses, when Zareen said, "But don't trouble yourself, I can wait, and now let us go to Aranushka's." What could you expect? I finished my day as foolishly as I had begun it. We supped with this Aranushka. Zareen always filled up my glass, repeating that I must get accustomed to the service. Upon leaving the table I could scarcely stand. At midnight Zareen took me back to the inn. Savaliich came to meet us at the door.